365, shake my hand. Good evening and welcome to, I guess, a video on the channel, not necessarily a war room. I want to quickly talk to you guys about ADP, NFP, what's going on in the market. It is from my perspective. One or two trades that we were in, that we are currently in, and what happened to US 30. But really just to break down the ADP report and also to obviously give some type of direction to what I think we should do tomorrow, NFP, which is being released tomorrow. All right, so that's kind of like the main thing I want to do. And I thought I'd just quickly do a live stream because this has been part of the many other videos I've been promising to do this week. It's just been a little crazy. But hope everyone is doing well. I hope, whenever you do watch this video, you like it, you share it, you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, turn on the notification button because like I said, the month of June is going to mark the difference, a big difference in the channel, and everyone is going to start to kind of like see why. I would like to talk and also share this link to our public Telegram group, just to let people know that I am live, but I don't want to get too distracted with that. Right, so let's quickly just kind of like do a post-up analysis on US 30, because that's really where we were, right? So if you're in the public Telegram group, we took this trade yesterday. It was a beautiful buy trade. The trade idea was given out on Sunday, right, in our war rooms. Please do check out our war rooms. Same trade idea for S&P 500. NASDAQ 100 happened a little bit earlier. And then US 30, of course. So apologize. So I can see we definitely have audio on the live. I just always need to double check audio. Right. So this trade went out well. I think my last instructions last night before I went to sleep was to, monitor, prices now moved in our direction. Those of you who don't know what to do, close quickly, manage risk, 1:3, 1:2, just depending on, the type of trader you are. But something happened. So let me just kind of like make this bigger for those of you who are watching so you can actually see this, because this is quite interesting. I find the market so fascinating. All right, is that big enough? I hope it is. I hope it is. But so something happened, So obviously we got triggered in here somewhere yesterday, and I'm gonna go to almost a minute time frame just to kind of like do a quick 5-minute, a trade management strategy, so to speak. And then I did post a couple of these screenshots in the public Telegram group as I was kind of like working through price. So I'm just gonna remove all of my analysis now and just the close part, right? Markets took off. All right, and as soon as they took off, they broke market structure here to the left, as you can see. And then we spoke a little bit about that, right? We spoke a little bit about how, well, I'm going to sleep now, or I say something, along those lines. I'm going to sleep, blah, blah, blah. Those of you who are getting out, if this is your target, it's time to get out. If it's not your target, you're trying to swing it, then just, be aware of a couple of things, break even, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't have known because I literally have a rule. I stop looking at charts at about 9:30 p.m., 9 p.m., or I will be lonely and single and divorced if I do what I used to do 3 years ago, which was markets from about 5 a.m. till about 11 p.m. Right. I think my partner, my loving partner, and my kids have endured enough of that type of life. Right. So, anyways, so somewhere along the line, market started to turn. Right. I would not have even known this because I exited and I woke up to some fundamental returns. By the London session, markets were now trading above that area where price broke structure. There was a retest for those 9 a.m. London session traders. But then obviously, or maybe it's not obvious to you, but it should always be, right? Whenever actually for this channel, supply and demand traders, it will definitely be obvious because the supply was created here on the 15 minutes time frame. And so you really have to ask yourself a couple of questions when you take such a trade. I'm talking about the people who only took the trade today at 9 a.m., not people. Check my Telegram. All right, cool, Siri. I'm assuming you mean on the private messages. No problem. I'll do that. Shake my hand, Alvin. Good to see you, buddy. Right, so I'm talking to people who entered somewhere here. All right, I'm talking to people who entered somewhere here at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. today. Right, I don't know how far your analysis took you because the question is, where's price going, right? Remember, the stock market is generally a futuristic tool. It prices in futuristic movements. So is your trading. Your trading is supposed to, mirror what the markets are doing. Where's markets going? If you're going to buy somewhere down here, Either you're confident that your buy is going to break the supply. We don't like to trade like that. We like to take, good trades. Now, 1:3 risk reward ratio is somewhere up here, which means if I bought somewhere down there and my stop loss was still open to some point of risk, this was going to be a good place for me to exit. But because I didn't trust how markets are moving, I already broke even, yada, 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 and so as soon as ADP dropped today at 2:30 p.m., I closed the trade, right? Why? Well, because ADP was a mess, all right? ADP gave us some bougie, very, very freaky, weird numbers. And I really want to talk about that. But as soon as ADP happened, markets were not happy about it. You see, this is around about ADP time at 2:30, where ADP is dropped. And this is something you must learn. You must learn the correlation to fundamental data, right? What markets like, what markets don't like. And today, because I know we've got like incredible human beings like Alvin in the group, and I can see you're on the live there, brother. Good to have you, who are absolutely disappointed, at ADP's consistency to get it wrong, right? And I want to kind of like talk a little bit about that and really what we should focus on as traders, right? So somewhere there by that arrow, that was about 2:30, where look, results came out. It was an unemployment mismatch. They didn't get the numbers they forecasted. In fact, they got less than half or about half. We'll look at it right now. And then markets tanked. As soon as that came out, I closed my trade, right? So I closed shy of 1:3, but all in all, it was a great trade. Markets completely fumble tumble, and then at about 4:15 p.m. they break this demand. Now this demand, guys, is broken across, for as far as the eye can see in terms of time frames. On the 1 hour time frame, 2 hour time frame, H4 time frame, there is absolutely clean clarity. The higher I go, by the time I go to H4, I was convinced that okay, markets are going to do whatever they want to do, and that's okay, right? So you can see, right, the mind games, right? At the end of the day, US 30 actually created an even more bullish confirmation, but used the data to drag price down for a better buy, smoking retail traders, putting me out of my price. Right? Even I closed my buy trades, right? Only to create a beautiful, bullish engulfing pattern, but take out this demand, right? Remember, we wanted this demand on Sunday so bad because it was the demand that took out a supply, that created a new breakup structure. So we always knew that this was going to be a place for price to come back to buy, right? That's the whole point of knowing your supply and demand and smart money concepts all together, right? Combined. And now look, it is for the beautiful brave 1:3 has now been achieved, but I'm not in it. All right. So now, that's kind of like a thing, right? But we had another good trade in the public Telegram group that hopefully we are all holding and managing. Those of you who are still in the money, and that would be our faithful Bitcoin. Now, all these trade ideas I give to you guys on Sundays for free on the channel. So I want to keep emphasizing that 365 does not sell signals. 365 does not do account management for individuals. 365 does not manage people's money. Manage your own money. Lend the skill, manage your own money. Also, on top of that, we get the added benefit of never being scammed in your entire life, right? So there we go, our Bitcoin trade that we spoke about, which actually matched all these indices because there's a coupling, right? So currently right now, Bitcoin is doing very well. You can see US 30, although it's taken out a demand, is still moving up. And so we can see, some type of familiar action. I did ask people to break even earlier on again today. In this particular, chart just before ADP, sometime in the morning, the public Telegram group. We're only up a 1:2 right now, but I'm broken even, so everything is free money at this particular point. It would be nice for Bitcoin to get somewhere here by Sunday. It would be great. It really would be great. That would be a great trade, almost 1:5. We know that through my tweets. I did make a tweet a while back, about a week ago. JP Morgan said, the fair price of Bitcoin is 38K, and a lot of people, always needed a bullish reason to kind of like just pump money, without really understanding how markets really work, failed to ask the question, why 38,000? And look at where 38,000 US dollars is the fair price. Fair price means that the asset right now is currently undervalued. And we as JP Morgan believe that the true value of that asset is 38K. That's a bullish signal because it means the big boys are going to pump it up a little bit, right? But to where? Well, they just told you to 38K. Elon Musk told you that look, man, I'm willing to overbuy Twitter at this particular price. Then markets exploded, gap up to that particular price to just sell. If you look at the Twitter chart right now, you will see what I'm talking about. So the same destination, the same destiny for Bitcoin is at play right now, right? So we could see, eventually, slowly but painfully, Bitcoin finally making its way here. If it makes its way up there, just think about what it means for the world. All those crazy bull guys are back. All those nutcases who just want to buy. Doesn't matter the climate, right? Like me, I dollar cost average into crypto. I don't care, what the price is. I have a 10-year plan that they're gonna buy. But in terms of trading, and in terms of just market sentiment, and in terms of market cycles, this is a beautiful place to sell, because now you've got that whole market who's moral. Like I feel like crypto morale is down right now. Bitcoin is down 50%. Not only that, but Bitcoin over 50% has failed to do what it was supposed to do, which was to be an inflation hit, right? It's literally tanking when tech stocks tank. Right, so 38K, where the big boy says the fair value, also happens to be where there is a beautiful, fresh, strong daily supply in price. Don't say I didn't tell you about this. One day we're going to get here, and I'm pretty sure, my trading is going to be very automated there in the form of pending orders. Excuse me. Right, but that's not why we're here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you who are going to watch this tomorrow. We are here to talk about this report that I've just taken the time to, slice and dice for you, earlier on in the anticipation of me potentially kind of like doing a video, right? So I just want to quickly go through ADP. Maybe you'd want to see the forecast on Forex Factory first, just so that we're all on the same page. But basically, ADP is a private research firm. So before I open my trading floor, just to be brutally honest, I love research more. I am more of a market analyst at heart than an actual trader. I would very much, if someone could pay me the same type of money to trade for myself, just to analyze data and then write these profound reports where you speculate accurately, I would do that for a job. But because I'm a very weird person and I don't like working for people, I'll do a bit of both for the channel, right? Some trading signals and some analysis, right? But look at this. So ADP had speculated that they were hoping to get 295,000 jobs, right? New jobs, the economy creating new jobs, and instead, right, they only came in at 128K, right? So that's a big miss, right? So now let's address, everyone's concerns, specifically Alvin. When I saw Alvin's comment today, I just kind of like, I couldn't help laugh, because there's a theme. Alvin does this every month, and rightfully so. Like ADP though, yeah, those guys, they're just quite silly. Right, now, here's the thing that we need to be very mindful of. It's not to say the problem is not necessarily ADP, right? ADP is part of the problem. The problem is what's going on in the market that professional analysts can't forecast the market's data correctly, because what that does is it creates a fear cycle. You see, the only thing that is so profoundly dangerous in the market that creates, an incredible cancer to everyone's profits is uncertainty. Markets hate uncertainty. So up until we get to a place where we can say, next month, we're going to get 300K jobs, and the market's coming at 301, 310, 300K, right? Then we can say we're back to that flow. Now, ADP historically is generally very good. There is a trend, however. ADP has completely fallen off its game, or has been less accurate since COVID, right? Because I don't think there are economic models that were put in place to deal with the pandemic before the pandemic happened, because a lot of people outside the military even knew about COVID, right? So I mean, we have every right to be very upset with the data, but I'm just giving the reasons why. But more importantly, it means more to us to know that the market also reads this as things are not balancing in the market. If our analysts don't get these numbers correct, ADP, NFP, CPI, whenever there's a mismatch in numbers, It's more than just missing. It's also the market uncertainty. So what did we get wrong as pros? What don't we know about the market, about the economy? Because whatever that uncertain thing is, someone has to pay the price. Somebody has to be liquidated for not knowing. For retail traders, it might be $100, $500, $1,000. But for institutions, getting liquidated is 500 million, 1 billion. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal, right? So markets, obviously, when the big miss like that, you get out of your indices immediately because you saw from +2, US 30 just tanked, right? Because it's like, oh, goodness gracious. We trading on the hopes that Powell has got the job thing under control. Inflation is peaking and about to come down. But if this is wrong, what else is wrong, right? So that's the mindset. That's the fear mindset. Right, now, real quick, guys, today is not going to be a long video. Past my bedtime. Right, so we've got this is actually just the report that I pulled up. I went through it for you. And I want to do a couple of cool things that I've never done on the channel before. So I hope you'll appreciate that. But we've got this situation here with ADP, right? We've got this. This was the forecast, right? The number that they wanted was 295K jobs. This is how much they found, right? 128,000. And this is the second time I'm going to repeat this thing. Small businesses are failing to employ people in America right now, right? So you'll see here in the report, right? This is where the hit came from. This is why they did not get their forecasted number, right? And the small businesses that already employ 1 to 19 people and then 20 to 50 people are all tanking down. They're fading. And the reason for it, if you read the report and you follow all the data, is because there's large businesses and these medium businesses, unlike here in Africa, are actually extremely competitive in the sense that they are offering higher wages. Now, you remember, since the time I've kind of like been teaching around data use in our supply and demand trading, we've been worried about a wage price spiral, where if they keep increasing the wages, inflation will keep going up. We spoke about this a lot. And the people who are causing that are large businesses. They're offering more money because there's more incentive, right, to get people to buckle down and come back to work. No more COVID checks, no more this, come get to work. Now, these small businesses can't compete with the high wages. And so people are leaving small businesses to join the rank and file of these big companies, right? So basically, that's where the mismatch is. Something else, to bring up out of this report, let's quickly see here. Right, what was this interesting decline? So this is just this year, right? So you can see there was a hike. I don't know if you guys remember, when we're tracking Powell's plan, when we're tracking the first interest rate hike of March. These were the proud job numbers that Powell was quoting in March, and why he was very comfortable with his plan the very first hike in the markets was 0.25 or 25 basis points, right? He was like, look, man, everything is cool. Then after that, in May, it went to 50 basis points. And then and then the speculation as to, what's going on now. But if you look at, the actual data right now, because remember, while markets are pricing in the future, human beings react a little bit slower to actual data. You can see here in February of 2022, where you had the 601K jobs. And ever since then, it's actually, on a decline. No one is really talking about it right now because the unemployment numbers are fluctuating between 3.5 to 3.6%. We'll see tomorrow. But just look at this, February, March, April. Every ADP report that's come in, today we got 128K. It's actually interesting, right? Granted, America is very close to maximum employment, right? I don't want to take that away from them, but this is an interesting decline. And we'll see what NFP says, tomorrow being Friday. And then this is like the historical trend, right? Changing non-farm farm private, right? Private being ADP. ADP is a private institution that gathers this data. And then NFP on Friday is released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, so technically under the government. And you can see for the most part, right, this is kind of like been the trend, since 2003, where ADP and NFP are very much closely aligned. So all I'm trying to say is the big difference started to happen here, COVID 2020, where ADP sometimes gets it wrong, right? And then the final thing I want to show you about this ADP is what I then did was, and because of time, I don't have how much time people have with me on the live. But if you're watching later by yourself, that's perfectly fine. But what I did earlier on was I decided to do something quick, something systematic for you to try, later, in your own study. So I just want to explain what I did, the stuff that I do when I'm playing around with data to understand stuff. I came here, I saw ADP, I opened ADP, and then I simply copied, literally on a Word document. I went to more, got as much data as I could, right? I mean, I could go back even further in time, and I probably will one of these weekends in life. But I just copied all of this here up until March 2021. It's not enough data to get statistical deviation, but it paints a picture. It's just a quick tool. So I copied all the ADP, speculation, the forecast, and the actual results since March of 2021 up until today's one, May of 2022. So we definitely have at least a year's worth of data. And then I did the exact same thing, copied the exact same timelines on NFP, right? Because I want us to know, is ADP still a good gauge? How do you kind of like navigate around it? So then I came to NFP, I went to more, and then I copied the exact same thing up until March of 2021, and this is what it looked like on a Word document. I'm pretty sure it'll be 10 times easier and clearer to do something like this on like Excel, type of thing, right? So you can see here, the first group here is ADP. Like, see, today we've got May 4's data, of ADP, right? What's going on? Oh, no, sorry, which was last month, right? Obviously, the one for today would have been above, right? And then we've got right at the bottom here, NFP, right? May 6th. So ADP always happens normally 48 hours before NFP, except for this month because Monday was a banking holiday, blah, blah, blah. And so all I want to quickly do is to do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 with you, so that those of you who are going to take the initiative to do this at home later on, and I'm happy to come back after I've done the full analysis and give you my results as well. But it's just to kind of like look, just to kind of like see what's going on. So I would do something simple like this. Last May, right, or the last results we got here, blah, 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 which was this past month, was the focus for ADP was 382K, but instead ADP came in at a miss of 247. By the way, they revise these numbers every month, but that's another story for another day. Look at NFP then. NFP had the focus of 390K and beat it, right? So you come up with a metric measure for yourself. So maybe let's say where ADP was wrong, highlight that yellow, green, purple, blah, blah, blah. I won't do all of them with you in this video. I'm simply just trying to say, build yourself a toolkit so you can statistically have confidence. I like data. I only operate better when I know when I move like this, I'm 80% sure I'm going to hit. When I take this demand, it's a value-based demand, the imbalance looks like this, it's got confluence. 80% of the time it works because trading is a game of probabilities, but those probabilities must be systematically proven. So that's what I'm trying to do. So if I get to the end of this whole list here, and I'll do this privately, maybe this weekend, pull out all the data, and then I'll publish it on the public Telegram and Facebook, blah, blah, blah. If I get to a point where I see that we reviewed 30 data sets or 30 months or 2 years worth of ADP versus NFP, and ADP was wrong 15 times, then it's safe to say maybe it's no longer a very good indicator for now. You know what I mean? You get to that conclusion. So this is to say, please do not just randomly abandon this thing. But more importantly, just understand, what's going on, right? So this will be a fun exercise to do. By Sunday, maybe I'll have the results for it, right? So now, what now? Moving forward, when it comes to NFP, I always prefer structure as an indicator of what I think is going to happen to price. Generally speaking, I try my best to give some type of direction that I truly feel might be best and accurate. But the problem is you can't always be right. So I do take that. Right now, when I'm looking at the non-farm payrolls, this is what it means. The ADP non-farm payrolls are saying, look, man, we found the economy is generating less jobs. Now, let's think about it logically. The logic is on Friday tomorrow, NFP is expecting 325K jobs. That's the logic. But ADP originally was expecting 295. So ADP was expecting less jobs to be created than NFP already. And then ADP came out to say, we found less, right? So it becomes almost logically reasonable if ADP is right. That's the trick. If ADP is right about what they found, so we know they were wrong about the forecast. That's number one. They were wrong today about the forecast. Now they've come and given us a report on their data and what they found. Now, if they are right about what they found, then it's logically NFP is supposed to be a miss tomorrow, all right? Because where on earth are the 325,000 jobs supposed to come from if ADP only found 128 and found a decline in small businesses? Okay, that's an important thing. So far we're dealing with the logic here. If I look back, to the previous month, I'm pretty sure the previous month NFP was actually positive, even though ADP was pointing to some type of weakness in the jobs data. There we go. NFP last month was very positive, right? The focus was 390, but the market or the Bureau of Labor Statistics found 426K jobs. The next thing I do immediately after that is then to apply market logic, right? So if NFP numbers are good, dollar is strong. If NFP numbers are good, if they find a lot of jobs in the economy, the dollar, it's written there, guys. It's written somewhere. It's always written. It used to be written. I'm pretty sure it's written there. Actual greater than focus is good for the currency. So that basically means if tomorrow, the data drops, I, head trader of 365 Trading Academy, who's been trading for about 9 years, running a trading for about 4 years, and I think I am successful in some type of degree in my particular field. I don't trade the news prematurely. I don't try and guess the data in terms of trading anyways. I don't try to trade at 29 past 2, 60 seconds before the news comes out. I grew up out of that a long time ago. I take risks seriously. I treasure every single dollar in my capital, and I expect a lot of people who grow into this thing professionally in the long run to do the same, right? I encourage people not to just listen to me, but to read profound books around this thing written by institutional traders. Today, I actually came across, I was waiting for my partner for an hour, and I read one of the most poorly written PDFs. Not even a book, it's a PDF, so 20-page PDF. The grammar was off, and I am not one to speak about grammar, because when I post on social media, I know that I never double check my work. There's always slight grammar things. But you're gonna put something on a PDF or a book, you better fact check yourself. It was poorly written, but it's selling like wildfire across retail traders. The logic was completely flawed. It just didn't make sense. But that's what people want to buy. People want to buy PDFs and think that's how you learn how to trade. I am saying to you, I do not, promote this idea of buying or selling an asset to catch, those short-term movements in the markets. We'll learn to understand the data. Markets will always create new levels for you. All right. A lot of these JP Morgan guys, the NFP trades start on Monday, right? You guys are just trading volatility, and it's short-lived, right? The days where volatility, especially NFP, used to pay, stopped in about 2018, 2019, right? That volatility is not a big deal. So when I go with this, so far we've got a thesis here, which is NFP might be a miss tomorrow. That's the thesis right now. The next thing to do is to understand what that means. Well, if NFP is positive, so if they find more jobs, dollar has to be strong. It's good for the currency. But if NFP is a miss, then it's bad for the dollar. It's bad for the currency. Then we come and consult structure. So that's my process. And this is done the night before and an hour before, because whatever I'm doing right now doesn't matter to the point where tomorrow at 9 a.m. when London session starts, and tonight at midnight when the Asian session starts, those day traders are going to pump the markets how they feel. Now, when I look at the dollar on the daily time frame, and we're talking about this in the public Telegram group as well, Mr. Alvin had spotted a gap. Excuse me, there's a gap somewhere down here, right? And my suspicion was, or is, right, if it hasn't been already, that the gap will be filled in a downward movement, and it might not have the type of upward pressure to shoot up. Right? All markets have done in the last 2 days on the DXY chart. On the DXY chart, all markets have done in the last 2 days is to do their very best to reach this point of supply right there. Right? There's a supply there on the daily time frame where markets are doing their best to try and reach. Now I'm just going to zoom in a bit and see if they made contact. And if they don't make contact and they are very close, never assume that they missed. Always assume that the area of competition is slightly bigger than we think. So I would teach people to draw the supply like that. That's a doji candle. But if you look at the previous bearish engulfing pattern or the previous supply, and you look at the wick of that previous supply before the new supply, and you simply draw a line to that wick. It's not a video game, guys. It's not Xbox. It's not my program or software. This is the markets. You can see markets have made contact with something. Right, so it's not magic why today was a red day for the dollar. The dollar started to fall before ADP came out. When ADP came out, it was a miss. The dollar continued to fall because when ADP or NFP miss, it's bad for the currency. I'm still working with that logic. Now, on the daily time frame, which I like, anything below that is noise. Too much noise for me is very frustrating. I'll go to purify my areas, but I'm going to stick to the daily for now. I don't see a demand here where price is. And when I'm talking about a demand, I'm saying I don't see a reason for price to go up anywhere here between this cluster, right there. Maybe this is a little bit too big. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, there. So somewhere here where price is right now, I do not see a reason for price to go up. I do not see what could make price go up. I can see what made price come down. Right, we've been speaking about this pattern, this break of the H4 time frame, this downward spiral. We spoke about why it would be dangerous to assume that markets are going to stop somewhere here. Don't buy there. We spoke about a lot of things and where price is going. And we think that maybe the downfall for the dollar will stop somewhere here around $100 to between 99. This is where I am willing to start taking those risks to buy the dollar. So if that logic is correct and NFP is tomorrow and I don't see a demand yet, right, I am then left with the impression according to structure, right, and this could change a little bit tomorrow. So we'll have to check again. I won't be with you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. We do golf and therapy on Fridays. Therapy is cool. Traders, go to therapy. Therapy is generally free if you're in a good city with a good hospital and you can afford it to pay a therapist. Go do one. Go talk about your life. Figure stuff out. Right. But my point is I won't be able to do a live stream tomorrow. I don't care about NFP. I don't trade NFP at 2:30 p.m. I set up my trades. So either NFP finds me in them or I join the momentum on Monday, Tuesday, whenever markets allow in my order blocks. But right now, it seems to me that the dollar needs to go down here. Now, what could help the dollar move down? Logically, I'm just following the logic here. Logically, ADP missed. NFP is focused in a higher number than what ADP was focusing, and ADP missed that higher, what it was focusing, which was lower than what NFP was focusing, right? So if NFP misses tomorrow, this would also then add more sell pressure to DXY. And the structure seems to be allowing for more sell pressure. I hope you understand. All of this could be completely wrong. Or we could have a positive NFP. It wouldn't change that this logic that I'm giving to you works the majority of the time. And that's what trading is about. What works most of the time. You'll never get what works all the time. But what you want is to be on the side of probabilities. You can't show me here where or what you would buy, all right? Because there's nothing, right? I don't care what type of a trader you are. I'm going to drop to H4 before we end this stream. Right, so there's H4 time frame, falling like La La Land. Actually, let's go all the way back to 1 hour just quickly to keep track of where price was. Look at markets yesterday, the 1st of June, ranging across the Asian session, refusing to give a single trend throughout from 6 p.m. right up until the Asian market started at midnight. While we were all asleep at 6 up until 6, 7, 8, 9 a.m., right? Markets made no move. Nothing. Just traded sideways, right? And that's, we call that an accumulation phase, right? And then the London session starts, and then crack a boom, right? Crack of dawn, a London session starts selling like crazy, and they sell through some interesting places, right? So some supply and demand traders would have anticipated some type of bullish movement here, and London markets decided against it. They just broke it, literally just decided to break it. Not even London, New York session. So there we go. Green candle triggers off the opening of the New York stock market, basically the awakening of the New York session today. And we actually got a mini supply in there, sitting just to break, structure the downside. And now markets have a mini supply and a broken demand. To me, that still anticipates more sell side, right? We might get an upward movement at some point in some session, Asian session or London session, but to me it feels like the markets want to go. I do the same thing on the 2-hour time frame. I'm moving away from the micro. I realize that 1-hour time frame isn't really a big deal to the markets. Okay, it could hold, right? But what's nice to see clearly on the 2-hour time frame is that there was definitely a demand here, and it was definitely broken. And price could then just be definitely creating a PCP still to the downside. And I'm just thinking to myself, if there's big news tomorrow, it could facilitate more downside. It could decide to create a relief buy. It doesn't matter. I have to choose a side. And right now, my side is more downside. More downside to me then means maybe NFP tomorrow is a miss, right? And NFP so far has been very positive, right? Last month, NFP was a big win. So I'm going against the grain. And if I'm wrong about that, it's okay. It wouldn't matter to me, Leroy's account, because I'm not going to be trading volatile news just before it drops. I'm going to wait for it to drop, compare my logic with what these guys do. Because remember, markets are heavily manipulated. You can have all the degrees, markets and economics. You can know everything about everything, but what you don't know is when the manipulation will be. Will they want to manipulate data tomorrow? I don't know, and I don't care. I'll see the data and then I'll trade what I see. 365, everybody. I don't know if there's anything more pressing to talk about. You guys have been amazing to listen to me rant a little bit for about 30 minutes. What I would like to do to end our time together is to just quickly review one of the most important things you'd be doing in your trading. The first thing is join 365. Links are somewhere down below in the description. If not, I'll pull them straight after this video. That's very important. Take the course to know the stuff. But number 2, religiously tell yourself this so you can become it. Religiously tell yourself this so you can become it. It's right in the screen there. It won't hurt to say it out loud. Saying things out loud engages vibrational frequency. You and your self-talk, what you say about yourself on a day-to-day basis, is why you are where you are in life, up here or down there. Your mind believes you more than anyone else. If you don't tell yourself more than anyone else that you will get better as a trader, that one day you will get your dreams fulfilled, if you're not telling yourself that, your conscious mind might believe it a little bit, but your subconscious mind is completely unaware of it. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better as a trader. Because of that, I am so happy and grateful that money comes to me in increasing frequent quantities on a continuous basis. I believe this to be true because it has already happened. At one point in time, someone put 5 rand in your hands. Be grateful for that. For this to be true, find the one moment it happened. It has happened before. It has happened somewhere in your life. For something to be grateful. Being grateful allows you to be open to new, bigger experiences. I am grateful and thankful for everything in my life. Money is forever circulating freely in my life, and there is always a divine supply. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for watching. Good luck tomorrow, Trading NFP. Tomorrow I'm going to do a special video. It's going to be a pre-recording, not a live stream. It's going to be on money psychology. I'm about to start teaching. I keep telling people to join now because after June, not only that the price is going to go up, right? Like now in June, like the 24-hour link is probably about to expire, but also because I will be now focused on what I have, the number of students I have. I need to really start to invest in those people, outside of just giving them the course. Money psychology is different from trading psychology. So when the trading psychology material, unfortunately, is reserved for registered students. But I want everyone to be fundamentally clear about money psychology. So I prepared a good video for you guys. You're going to get it tomorrow on the channel. Please do watch that. Please share that widely. Because once we get money psychology all right, and I think we can, that's easier than getting trading psychology. But unfortunately, our trading psychology is inherently linked to our perception of money. A lot of people, when we talk about trading psychology, they assume there is this magic stuff. There isn't. I'm going to be giving you guys real life tactics in your trading that you need to panel beat into repetitive behavior that will start a reprogramming for trading. Most people enter markets without the mindset of a trader. You know, my floor traders, for example, and this is how institutions work. It's what I learned at Allen Gray. You don't carry the burden. You do. There's a burden, of course, of everybody that cares in trading psychology. But because it's not even your money, it's like the company's money. And there's someone like me who actually controls when I think you've had enough. You don't get to decide one more try, Leroy. I cut you off. Everything is automated. If a trader has 3 strikes, three bad trades in a row, that guy gets a week off, paid for, because he is better off for me, right, as a reset trader than a trader constantly trying to revenge in the markets, which is something that retail traders do on a day-to-day basis. But anyways, we'll talk about that stuff tomorrow. Please do like and share the video. Shake my hand, everybody. I appreciate this. Thank you so much. Have a good night and see you tomorrow. See you on Sunday for the Traders War Room, and then see you soon live in class for those of you who are registered, right? Cheers, guys. Have a good night. Peace.